Hey, NFL fans, for any Chicago Bears fans out there, we have a Bears-only YouTube channel. The link is right there, youtube.com/BearsNow for Chicago Bears coverage all year long, including this Bears video of the week.
All right, I've got the latest Bears rumors and news for you guys, starting with Nick Foles' contract details. So a lot has changed, at least on my outlook of the Nick Foles trade, as more details have come out. Obviously, he spoke on a Zoom teleconference recently when he was introduced to the team. The full restructuring is out now. Basically, it's a 3-year, $24 million contract. That ain't bad for Nick Foles, guys. That's not bad at all. Now, there's a lot of detail to get into here. There's a lot of incentives. There's bonuses worth up to $1 million per year. But that doesn't count against the salary cap. The cap number is the key here, which is important. Now, keep this in mind as well. Foles can void the deal after either 2020 or 2021 if two things happen. If the Bears make the NFC title game, or if the Bears, if he plays 50% of snaps for the Bears, both those things happen, he can void the contract. So he's basically betting on himself here. So look at the cap, it's just over $5 million this year, just over $9 million the next couple of years. So with all of that in mind, with the restructure of just 3 years and $24 million and the cap hit under $10 million all 3 years, grade the Foles trade now. I initially gave it a C-. I think I'm at about a B now. It's a lot better. It looks better. It's not a high price tag, especially if he ends up starting. Even for good backup money, that's a good price. That's a lot less than what Marcus Mariota got with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think this is a good deal. I think overall you should be very, very pleased with the Nick Foles trade. So grade it A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about the Nick Foles trade now that you know the contract details? This is a quote from Nick Foles on restructuring his contract, saying, "This is ultimately what I thought was best based on a lot of information from this last season, to where agreeing to a crazy restructure was necessary to allow me to go play for Coach Nagy and the Chicago Bears. It's probably not the logistical move if you're looking at the numbers and contracts and moving and all of that stuff, but it was necessary based on my heart and a lot of prayer and thinking." So he's basically saying, I was willing to sacrifice a lot of money to play for a team and a coaching staff that I'm familiar with and get a chance to be a starting quarterback, because he probably felt like Jacksonville was going to roll with Gardner Minshew. So he sacrificed a lot of money to make this trade happen. So kudos to Nick Foles. Kudos to the Bears for this contract restructuring. I think it's a good deal for everybody involved. He'll compete with Mitchell Trubisky. I think in the end, he will be the starting quarterback, but all in all things are good as far as Nick Foles' contract goes for the next couple of seasons. What's also good are these sweet Bears draft hats. All 32 teams released their draft hats recently. We've got them available, the Bears versions. You got to go to this link, chatsports.com/BearsDraft. You can get a lot of different styles. They all look pretty good this year, too. You got the snapbacks, the flat bills, the curved baseball bill style as well. Go to chatsports.com/BearsDraft. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. And you can shop today. Get yourself a Bears draft hat before the NFL draft. I highly recommend that you do that. Next story here is about head coach Matt Nagy. Is he on the hot seat? So Bleacher Report did a little article about all 32 head coaches and where they fit in their category. So they had 4 categories basically, and they have Matt Nagy landing in the warm category, which is the second hottest, if you will. Several coaches were in that one. Only a few were in the scorching hot category, and for decent reason, right? I mean, the Bears team and offense especially regressed last year. You look from 2018 to 19, almost 10 less points per game. Passing was down, rushing was way down, turnover margin was way down. Part of that last stat there was the Bears defense didn't force as many turnovers, but the Bears offense also turned it over a little bit more. Overall, fall from 12-4 to 8-8. Your hot seat is going to kick up a little bit despite only being the head coach for a couple of seasons. Now, this was the categories for Bleacher Report for this story. Cold was 10 coaches, which basically they're untouchable for at least 2020. Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, a couple of other new coaches. Those type of coaches are in that category. Cool, means mostly safe. It would have to be a disaster like Cliff Kingsbury was in that category. If Arizona went like 2-14, maybe they would fire him. Warm is like 50-50. If you have a bad season, might get fired. That's where Matt Nagy is and several others. And then scorching hot like Doug Marrone in Jacksonville. You better make the playoffs somehow or you're probably going to be out of a job. So Matt Nagy landed in the warm category according to Bleacher Report. Where would you place him based on these categories? Cold, cool, warm, or hot? I'm kind of between cool and warm. Like if there was a fifth category in the middle, that's where I would place him. I don't think it's necessarily playoffs or bust, but the offense has to be better. That's the bottom line. He's got to be a better play caller this year, and they've got to settle on a quarterback, whether it's Trubisky or Foles. So I think for the most part, Nagy is safe. But if it's a disaster this year, the Bears could fire him. So keep that in mind. These are the categories: cold, cool, warm, scorching hot. Bleacher Report has him in the warm category. I want you to cast your votes down below where you think Matt Nagy is as far as his hot seat goes. All right, let's talk about Allen Robinson and a possible contract extension. There's been some murmuring of this over the past couple of weeks and months. Quite frankly, he is entering the last year of his contract. He's coming off an excellent season. His cap hit is $15 million for 2020. So that could lower if the Bears come to a contract extension. They could lower that number for this season, get some more cap space, maybe add another player or two in free agency. Bears are sitting at around $10 million right now, which is typically what covers your rookie contract. So if you want to get a few extra million, extending Allen Robinson makes a lot of sense. And it makes a lot of sense mostly because look at the year he had last year. And this is with a bad Mitchell Trubisky, at least Trubisky being bad last year. Almost 100 catches, over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Allen Robinson has, proven to be a true number one receiver. Now, I'm not saying he's in the top 5 in the NFL, but he is certainly worth paying if you are the Chicago Bears. What do you guys think? Should the Bears extend Allen Robinson? I want you to type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know down in the comments section. I think it's an obvious yes. The Bears haven't had a receiver of his caliber in quite some time. I think you keep him around. He's still pretty young. You extend him and keep him for the long term, regardless of who's playing quarterback. So I think they absolutely should extend Allen Robinson. And you look at this wide receiver depth chart, you're feeling pretty good. A-Rob number 1, Anthony Miller sitting there. I think the Bears could draft a receiver or maybe sign someone in free agency to play as well. Cordero Patterson, I think he's more of a utility 4th receiver type than a number 3, but your top 2 guys are pretty good. If you add someone else in the draft or free agency, this receiving core looks a lot better, but you want to keep Robinson for the long haul. He's a true number 1 receiver, and there's not a lot of those in the NFL. If you look at the highest paid receivers in the NFL, these are the top 5 in terms of average salary per season. Julio, Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, and then Odell Beckham Jr. I think OBJ, Tyreek Hill is kind of the range you would look at for Allen Robinson. I don't think he's as explosive as Hill, obviously, but I think you could argue he's better and more valuable than OBJ at this point. He's not the diva OBJ is. He's been healthier the past couple of seasons, and he's just played a whole lot better for the Chicago Bears the last couple of years. So I think all in all, Allen Robinson is a receiver that is worth getting paid. His cap hits $15 million this year with the cap going up. Getting him for $18-19 million per season makes a whole lot of sense. I don't think he deserves Julio Jones money as he's set to make $22 million. Amari Cooper was overpaid by Dallas. You could argue that's about the range that Allen Robinson deserves. I don't think he'll get $20 million, but you never know in the end what the Bears might do for Allen Robinson and a potential contract moving forward. Michael Thomas, obviously, I think he's a little better than Robinson, but when you get to the Odell Beckham range, that $18 million, I think that is the number for Allen Robinson. So I'm going to compare the two. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Allen Robinson? Would you rather have Odell Beckham Jr.? Type R for Robinson, type B for Odell Beckham Jr. We just dove into a deep analysis of the top 5 highest paid receivers. I think the top 4 are, pretty comfortably ahead of Robinson in terms of, worthy of getting paid. But I think $18 million for Robinson, certainly worth it. Give me Allen Robinson all day long. Want to remind you guys to get subscribed to Chicago Bears Now. We just hit 5K recently. Let's get to 6,000 by May 1st. We'll have coverage all off-season long, the latest news and rumors, Q&As, and much, much more. Just over 5,100 as we sit right now. Let's get to 6K by May 1st. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. A couple more stories here. Bryson Hopkins, the Purdue tight end, The Bears have met with him 3 times now. They met with him at the Combine. They met with him at the Senior Bowl. Now they've had a video call with the Purdue product. Clearly they like him. The Bears could use a young tight end to develop. This is, like I said, the 3rd time they've met with the kid, which tells me a lot. If you're meeting with a prospect multiple times, especially when it's not a round 1 guy, that means you have your eye on that player. I think it's a little rich to use one of your 2nd round picks on him, but he's one of the better receiving tight ends in the draft. Almost 14 yards a catch last year at Purdue, 830 yards, 7 touchdowns. He has a big frame. He kind of, in a way, reminds me of a Jimmy Graham, quite honestly. And yeah, just because you brought in Jimmy Graham doesn't mean drafting a tight end is not on the table. Trey Burton was banged up last year. Demetrius Harris is a rotation guy. All the other tight ends on the roster, they're just not very good. I think you draft somebody, probably not in round 2, but maybe you trade down, draft someone in the 3rd or 4th round, like a Bryson Hopkins, and you develop that player behind Jimmy Graham, and hopefully, if Trey Burton can get healthy, behind him as well. Obviously, you look at the Bears draft capital, only 2 picks in the top 4 rounds. I think they trade down from one of those 2nd round picks to get an extra 3rd or a 4th. And then maybe that's where you draft a tight end. If not, I think taking one on day 3 as a developmental project could be an option as well. What round do you think the Bears should draft a tight end? You see the question on screen. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think 3rd or 4th round, if you trade down and get a pick, is certainly worthy. I'm comfortable taking one on day 3 as well. So go ahead and comment your votes below. All right, just wanted to end on this kind of fun. NFL released their all-decade team just a couple of days ago. 4 Bears made the list. 8 players on the all-decade team were unanimous votes, by the way. But the 4 Bears players that made the list shouldn't be a huge surprise. Julius Peppers, who was on the team from 2010 to 13. Devin Hester, maybe the best kick returner of all time, returner in general. He made the squad, which speaks volumes because he was only on the Bears through 2013. Khalil Mack, Cordero Patterson, current players. Patterson making it as a kick returner. Khalil Mack making it as a linebacker as well. Been very productive. So that's exciting. That's fun. I like talking about these lists. I also am curious, what Bears do you think will make the 2020s all-decade team? Current players. Who's going to make the next all-decade team when we look back 10 years from now? Could it be an Allen Robinson? We will see. Khalil Mack, I think, is probably your leading candidate as of now. So go ahead. Let me know what you guys think down below. But again, all-decade team, it's fun. We need positivity right now with everything going on in the world. Kudos to the 4 Bears players who have made the list on the NFL's all-decade team.